that it is GitLab is a web-based Git repository that it is also it has so many features that it can replace almost everything that is available today. So it is like a departmental store. You enter a departmental store and you do not look here and there. You do not look back and for because you get every other item that you require for your consumption. Okay, it is like that. GitLab is also under that umbrella. You can start your project, you can end your project. Everything else will be taken care of. It is a project management tool like the Jira, and also it can also do the pipeline stuff. It can verify your code like the SonarQube. It can replace Jenkins. It can also be a very good competitor to Azure DevOps, from Microsoft. Yeah. Microsoft has a lot of muscle cloud over there, the money, power, and all the stuff. But GitLab is a very, very potential competitor to Azure DevOps. I have worked with Jenkins, I have worked with Azure DevOps, and I have worked with GitLab. But out of this, because Jenkins, you have to be very, very good in Groovy. You have to know a lot of Groovy. Okay. And with my students who are coming from different background, if I go into, I have to teach Jenkins at the same time. If I ask my students to also learn about Groovy, otherwise they will not be able to code on the pipeline. It is too much of an ask. And on Azure DevOps, you have to know a lot of intricacies of the Azure, the Azure way of delivering, that is the Azure cloud. It is almost like learning a pipeline, a simple pipeline. You have to learn the entire cloud. So GitLab is very, very cloud agnostic. It does not depend on any cloud. That is the biggest point. That is the best scoring point over the Azure DevOps. You are not tied up with any cloud. Simply, you start your pipeline day one, and you know Linux, you know a bit of shell scripting. That is more than enough. You do not need to be a developer. You do not need to be a computer wizard. You're nothing. You're just simply an ordinary person who is trying to get into an IT domain with the help of DevOps. GitLab is going to provide you with that umbrella. Okay? To name it anything, you want to deploy over Kubernetes? Yes, you do it. Do it with GitLab. You want to use Docker and Docker container registry over the GitLab? Yes. You want to replace Git? Yes, you can. You want to replace Jenkins? You will. You want to replace SonarQube? You will. SonarQube is the code quality checker. You want to get rid of Artifactory like JFrog and Nexus? Okay, you can do that. It is inbuilt within. You want to do away with Jira? You want to do everything over the GitLab? Yes, you do it. So GitLab is, we will try to build a very basic CI/CD pipeline by understanding the GitLab architecture and understanding some basic concepts of GitLab CI/CD. And we will also learn how GitLab CI/CD works. I mean, learning means in our paid courses of DevOps, which is for 7-8 weeks, 6-7 weeks. Okay, GitLab takes around 4 sessions of 2.5 hours. And whereas I'm covering in 1.5 hour, the most of the part which I can. So it is not a full-fledged learning, but yes, it will give you a head start. Are you getting me? Please, if you have any sorts of question, please do not hesitate. I like questions. In fact, In fact, no questions are, bad or good questions. Everything is a good question. If I can attend that, I can address that question is a good question. If I cannot, it's a bad question. I mean, I was joking. Okay. So how GitLab CI/CD works? Main building blocks of the GitLab CI/CD. So look at this. How versatile the GitLab, which is uh, starting from project management to the project to the delivery of the product. That is, I can say from I can say I can say from ideation, ideation to production. This is GitLab. Okay. From ideation to production, you do whatever you want to do from project management till operations. You hand it over to the operations, the product. That is, you are putting that into the production box. So everything that you want to do, like what are the things that you want to do in a DevOps lifecycle or a SDLC lifecycle, is you want to do everything, starting from management, starting from planning to create your, I mean, you start creating your pipeline. You can verify the code. Verify the code means the code the which the developers have given you. You have to verify it whether the code is up to the standard. So there should be something like Sonar Cube, which is going to check the quality of the code. If it passes, and verification also means you have to do the unit testing, system integration testing, and all those stuff. So if everything passes, you know, is the right sign. If the approval is obtained, then you will put that into a package. You package it. There are various tools like you have the Docker, you have the Maven, you have the Gradle, you have the Ant. So many packaging softwares are available. So what you do, you containerize it, or basically you build it and put that into a package. So a package, and then you put it into a container as an image. All these things are technology, DevOps terms. And you can secure it over the pipeline. So the pipeline has to be very secured. As Karthik was saying, when you do DevSecOps, you are basically protecting or securing the DevOps assets, the resources that you have created over the pipeline. This is a pipeline, an automation pipeline. After you have secured your pipeline, you will release it. Now, what do you mean by release? The release is nothing but you are trying to pick up the artifactory. That means whenever you have done the packaging build, you may have put those, there is some derivatives out of the build. Okay, you want to put them into the artifactory. Artifactory is a very important thing because when you do the release, after you have built the artifactory, you will pick up the products that you have given in that artifacts, basically the artifacts, to be released to the testing team or to the staging, that is the pre-production, and finally to the production. After the release, that is, you may also do some configuration with some tools, Ansible, Terraform, Kubernetes, all these things configuration, because you want to do some orchestration. The release is just you are releasing it, but releasing and testing the integration of a software is not only the thing. You have to see it, how robust it is, how good the performance is. Okay. So that is, if you do not do that, then what is that? You are not testing it from every angle. So you have to configure it, orchestrate it in such a way that It can, you have to ensure that it is robust, it is highly available, it is uh, reliable, all the acid properties that should be tested. So you put it into a tremendous stress. You like stretch it to the limit of breakage. If your software, your delivery, your product can survive that stress test, that means this is going to be, uh, you know, this is going to be reliable and this is going to be robust, highly available. And after you have delivered to this thing, it has gone to the delivery. That is, now the project is coming to an end. It has been handed over to the operations team, the production team. Okay, and it will start monitoring on the pipeline itself. You see, everything is happening on the pipeline because if while monitoring, if the health of the system was found to have some, because they will look at the logs. And there are various tools like Prometheus, Grafana, Kibana, Elastic Stack, Search, Logstash. All this will look at Splunk, okay, you name it. And there are many cloud tools like cloud monitoring tools like from Amazon. It is AWS Cloud Trail. Okay, you can use the monitoring tool. Okay, so all these tools will be helping you to automatically monitor the health of the product, and if something goes wrong, you can immediately go back to the development team. They will rectify the code and everything. That means it will come back from here to here and again start from here to go and release, secure. Everything will be done, configure, and again it will come back to the monitoring stage. Any questions? So can you understand the importance of a pipeline, automation pipeline? Even the approval, the process of approving, they should not, it should not happen separately. And it is not an isolated process. Approval also for each stage, like you have a gate, exit gate. So for each exit gate, you need an approval from the customer. The customer should approve it. So you can build those, the approval stages on the pipeline itself. GitLab will help you in doing so. You can send an automated mail to your manager or to your customer. The customer says, I approve. Based on the artifacts that you have given me, I'm happy with your product. Please go ahead to the next stage. So I have already told you about all these things in my previous slide. Okay, sorry, the I has come down. Continuous integration and continuous deployment. In the meantime, I will take this opportunity to thank my colleague, Mr. Shubro Tonai. We fondly tell him Shubro, for making this fantastic PPT for me. I thank you. So this continuous integration, this is continuous deployment and continuous delivery. CI/CD is a core part of DevOps. It is very, very true. Without CI/CD pipelines, basically you will not be able to integrate or deliver and deploy. Okay. So knowing a CI/CD pipeline is the utmost importance. Yeah, you must know Docker. At least you have to know everything, but at least you have to know Docker. You have to know a pipeline. You have to know infrastructure as a coding tool like Terraform and a configuration management tool like Ansible. And you have to know, you have to know lots of things. You have to know Kubernetes as well. You have to know Git. You have to know cloud. You have to know Linux. So, how things go? Like this is our developer. He is like a very experienced guy, he or she, and he will be putting the code, the changes to the Git repository. It could be a GitHub, it could be a GitLab. So this is the famous logo of GitHub and the Git. So instead of Git, I can use GitLab. So this guy can directly put the code on the GitLab. GitLab will take care of the version control of it. Okay, like Git. Then the pipeline, when we create a pipeline that can be put for testing, so we can have a pipeline job for testing. Then we can go, this is a unit testing. Then we can use the build and packaging using Maven, Docker, either Gradle or Ant, or all the stuff. So we will do the build and packaging over the pipeline. And today, if the time permits, I don't know what's the time, whether I will be permitted, but anyway, I will try. If not, we will carry on with the next Saturday. So it is good that it is a continuation. There is no disjoint. And then whatever the outcome of this build and packages, we can put them into an artifactory. So the artifact repository will help you to have those artifacts. And those artifacts could be picked up for deployment, for release and deployment. Okay. So this is called the GitLab execute pipeline to release the new code changes to the end user. For right now, the end user is our testing team, because the development team will deliver the code and somebody has to test it thoroughly from every end-to-end. End-to-end testing will happen. Okay. So this how a developer does not know how to deliver it to the testing team automatically over a pipeline. It is you as a DevOps guy will help the developer to put the entire code with the building, automation or automatic building and packaging. Then it will go to the artifact repository if there is one, or it can go to the Sonar Cube. For before building, we can go with the Sonar Cube, but you do not need a Sonar Cube at all. You have everything within the GitLab. So we can use the code verification part or code analytics part of GitLab over the pipeline. And therefore, it can go to finally the deployment. If something happens over on the testing, it can come again back to this thing over the pipeline only. Again, the developer will start working on it, put it back onto the GitHub repository, and that DevOps lifecycle keeps on and on and on. It's an iterative cycle. Now, CI/CD stands for continuous integration and continuous deployment and continuous delivery. And what it basically means is automatically and continuously testing, building, and releasing code changes to the deployment environment. The deployment environment could be your QA. QA is quality. What is that? Quality. QA team is the quality. The quality. I'm not finding out the term. Quality analysis or
quality assurance.
Quality assurance. Correct. Thank you very much. Quality assurance. So sometimes some things does not immediately click because of my age. Okay. So that's thank you for very much. So quality assurance, within which the testing team is one of their parts or wings. Okay. So that will ensure your code is of quality. And it is not of the quality of the standard of the code. It is also what the user or the customer wanted. You have catered to each and every requirement to the perfect level. So it could be a QA, it could be a development environment, it could be a QA environment, or it could be a pre-production environment like the staging environment, or it can be a production environment finally. So this is what we have already talked about. Deploy to dev. You can deploy it over to dev from the after you have released. You can release it to dev. You can release it to staging. You can release it to QA, and finally you can release it to the production. So there are many CI/CD platforms, many competing CI/CD platforms, out of which there is the Azure Pipelines or Azure DevOps. Okay, this is the Azure DevOps. This is Travis CI. This is our favorite GitLab, and this is Jenkins. So Mr. Jenkins is a bit lagging behind the market because the market is now dominated by Azure DevOps and GitLab. Jenkins was very, very popular, is also popular. Many companies are still using Jenkins as a pipeline, but generally the knowledge base is coming down. Why, Because Jenkins is, for Jenkins, you need to know a lot of things, allied things, because Jenkins totally and absolutely needs your plugins. Jenkins cannot work on its own. It needs a lot of plugins, and to work with those plugins, you need to know very good, you have to have a very good idea of Groovy. So a new language that has been that you have to learn. So why should I learn a new language when I can do the same job with much more efficiency and much more productivity with something which is very simple? I will not make my life complicated. Why should I? I will make my life simpler. Okay, I know Linux, I know shell scripting, I will use that. Azure DevOps also supports shell scripting. I do not need to learn Python scripting, or Groovy, all those stuff, or Go language. Okay, I can simply do with shell scripting, and I can do everything what Groovy can do. I can do much more, and much easily. So there are lots of advantage. I can keep on talking about the advantages, but there is a time constraint. Uh, I was a very good fan of Mr. Jenkins. Okay, I will not try to demean this. This is still a very powerful tool. But yes, there is a lot of advantages with GitLab over Jenkins. I don't want to undermine this very powerful tool called Jenkins. So let me skip this. Yeah, let us concentrate on GitLab. So GitLab is, the beauty of GitLab is it's a web interface. You can do all the Git commands without writing a single command. Git commands like git push, git pull, git remote add, and all the stuff. So many Git commands are there. I don't have to git merge, git branching. I do not have to do a single command. Even if I don't know, doesn't matter. I can do it with the web interface of GitLab. And GitLab is just, I have to create an account. Like in cloud, I create an account, my cloud account. Similarly, on the GitLab, I create my one account on GitLab, and that's all. The floodgate is open. I can use all the tools that I told you, like the Git. The GitHub, it's a substitute of GitHub, the Jira, the SonarQube, Jenkins. Okay. And what do I say? Monitoring tool. Yeah. You can say that I do not need a very sophisticated monitoring tool like Splunk. I can do basic monitoring with my GitLab only, and can do a lot of good monitoring activities. I can do code analytics. So there are lots of features. It can work very well with your Kubernetes, with the Kubernetes container orchestration. It is when I create an account like the cloud, where I can just an account, I can use my free account and I can create my EC2 instances or my servers. Here, I do not need to create any software or any server. The server is already given to me with my account, an instance. And unlike Jenkins, unlike Azure DevOps, I have to do a lot of configuration. Azure DevOps, not much like Jenkins, but still we have to do a lot of configuration. Here, there is zero configuration. Everything is set up for you. You just start writing your YAML pipeline, the GitLab pipeline, their CI/CD pipeline. Yes, it is. Uh, it is like for every, like in Jenkins, you have the agents which will run your jobs. Basically, what it is doing, it is running the jobs on the pipeline. So here, the pipeline jobs will be, again, there will be a shareable runner. So GitLab runners are there. You do not need to create any runner or configure any runner. If you want, you can. Suppose in many companies, they don't want to use the shared runners because shared runners can have a performance impact, or maybe even now and then it can go down, because shared runners are not only you are sharing that runner. There are many millions and millions of many people who are maybe using that same runner at the same time. It may coincide that you are using a Docker based runner, and at the same time another person is using the same runner. It is very difficult because there are hundreds of randomly generated runners. So you do not worry about, but then there is still a chance you can create your own runner for your organization. So nobody can share it. It is very secured. So you can go for, but there is a runner concept. For each job, it will be assigning one runner. But that is only when you are using parallel jobs, when you are executing parallel jobs, then separate runners will be assigned. But if you are doing a sequential job in the pipeline, that is one job completes, the other job kicks off, that job completes, other job kicks off, there is a dependency, then what happens is you will use one runner. And that is because you have created your own runner, shared runner, your own hosted runner. That is very good for security as well as for performance. Okay. So as I told you, it is either you use the managed runners or you can have the self-managed runners. I will prefer this one. But this is also good. This is very good. This is actually managed by GitLab. It is like a SaaS, software as a service. So anything is good for you. I do not have to go into that depth. We go to in the larger depth when we are doing our job ready training. But yes, you have a bit of a concept what a pipeline is and what it does. If we get some time, I think we have Mr. Menon. Do we have 1 hour, right? From now on?
Yes.
Yes. So I will complete my theoretical background of it. So this is you are coding a pipeline. Like in Terraform, you are coding your infrastructure. In your Ansible, you are coding your configuration. You are coding your configuration management. In Docker, you are coding your containers. Similarly, here you are coding your pipeline. That means you have much control. You can do whatever you want to do. Okay, something that is not given to you or imposed on you, that you have to do this way and you cannot do that way. You can do any sort of thing because it is now under your domain. You can write whatever you can have parallel jobs, you can have sequential jobs, or you can have a combination of parallel and sequential. You can create dependencies. Okay, you say I will need this only if this completes, then I will start. Or you say, okay, it doesn't matter, it doesn't depend on this. You can spawn it up parallelly. All these flexibilities you can achieve with the pipeline coding YAML file is .gitlab-ci.yaml. Okay, so we are going to basically create today this pipeline. This is the pipeline YAML on top of our uh, GitLab. With GitLab, we have to create a project. In a GitLab, you always approach it as if it is a project. Okay, you are not allowed to do a stray code like GitLab .GitLab CI YAML and you start writing a pipeline. No, you have to be in a framework of a project, like the jobs. What are the jobs? You can have multiple jobs on a pipeline. Like this is a .GitLab -ci.yaml. You cannot change the name. This is the default name of the pipeline YAML file. So this is the script. You are writing the script. And these are the jobs. And these jobs, these are the, the stages, the red stage, we are depicting this with the colors, the red, the yellow, the blue, and the darker blue. And these are the jobs in the respective stages. You can have more than one job in one stage. You can. But generally, what you do is, for simplicity, see, whenever you are trying to make it bigger, then you can have in one stage multiple parallel jobs or a combination of a parallel and a sequential job. Okay. So there can be more than one job within each of the stages. So these are called stages and these are called jobs according to this job. So I can create a dependency between this job and this job saying that unless this job is not completed, I will not start this job. All these things are there. And you can, within the environment of CI/CD pipeline of GitLab, you can use your passwords, your secret information and sensitive data. You can protect them. You can protect them within the domain of the GitLab, that is within the environment of the GitLab. And somebody is Karthik was saying there is the policy, IAM policy. That policy, that means there is some level of users, some administrators, some owners will only be allowed to have an access to those secrets and sensitive data, not even a developer, not even the project manager, nobody else. So whoever is the admin, mostly the DevOps guys are the admin of the pipelines because they create the pipelines. They will know how to secretly store the data and various important informations. Then the marked variables. Marked variables are very important because, see, every time you have to monitor your logs. And if a very important, like the variable saying which folder, which directory. So shall I allow anybody to look into my directories? No, I will not. Shall I allow my branches to be variable accessible by anyone? No. Shall I allow something like my path where I have kept my secret information? Will I allow somebody to look into that path? No. So what I will do, I will put those path into a variable. I will make a variable and I will mask it. So when it appears on the log, you will not be able to decipher it. Where is the path? And nobody can go over there and debug it. And one more thing is important is GitLab gives you a secret way of storing your backend state files. Mostly for the infrastructure as code tools, they will use the state file a lot. So those state files will be absolutely hidden from the end user. So there will be the variable location. So if it is on the pipeline level, the variables will be global. And if it is on the job level, the variables will be local. So when the scope of the job, when the job is finished, okay, the scope of the variables die because they are local. But the variables that you have declared on the pipeline level will not die because those are global variables. So you can use them in any job, in any script. So far, it's a one-way traffic. Do you have any questions? So this part, hands-on on the Terraform and the pipeline, that we will do on next Saturday when we learn a bit of Terraform as well. Then, and since we are learning GitLab today, with that demo, okay, I think you should be able to get it. After that, we will use the Terraform and use the pipeline to display how we can use Terraform to deliver some jobs over the pipeline. Is that fine? Do you agree? So today I will not discuss about Terraform at all. So let us end our theoretical discussion over here. Please do let me know if you have any questions. Do you have any question? So can we start sort of a hands-on? Yeah, Larry, your voice is breaking.
Guys, I think it is a very rare opportunity you will find where you can directly communicate with the trainer or the market expert or the industry experts. So try to utilize your hours, your every minutes. If you're having an opportunity like this, ask whatever question you have.
Yeah. Okay, fine. So questions, I think that is more or less clear because the concept of pipeline is not a very new concept. It is an old concept, but it is very much a part of DevOps. Without learning pipelines, you cannot go ahead in DevOps. Okay, let us try to go into our, this is my interface. So if anybody has gone into, somebody has gone and created an account on GitLab. This is my GitLab. So let me come out of this GitLab. Okay. So I will again log in. So sign up. So I have gone to uh, I have gone to the GitLab official site. Okay, this is the web interface. This is the welcome page. Uh, I can sign in, or you can create an account on a free tier. But basically, you can also do a registration. So you can just click on the sign in, and if you do not have any username or you have not created any account, you can also register. You can register for the first time. But since I have already, these two accounts are there, I will go to this and I will sign in. So it will be verifying. There could be a validation. No, it is not yet. It is not needed because I had been on to this. I have The verification was not needed at this stage because it is less than 24 hours that I have been on this tool. Okay. So if it is ideal for more than idle for more than 24 hours, it will ask for verification of your sign-in. It will give you an OTP onto your email ID. Anyway, that's beside the point. This is the interface. You see, when you go into this one, this is the home page. you will have, if you have not created any projects, you will directly go to the groups. It will ask you to create a group. And if you do not have any group, it will ask you to create a group. And within the group, you have to create a project. But let's say I have been using this. So there are lots of projects. So anyway, I will create a new project. So here, there on the left-hand side, this is the navigation bar. On the left-hand side, you will see there are many options. One of those is, hello, can you, am I visible?
Yeah, you are.
Okay,
Yes, you are.
okay. So these are as I was telling you, the issues are nothing but the stories. What are stories? Stories are nothing but the uh, features of a product that has been requested by the customer. We are delivering on those features. So issues. So if we can create issues, and then we can uh, there is within the thing that we can do a to-do list, milestones, snippets, activity, workspace. So many things are there. It will be difficult for me to go through all of them today. But what I'm trying to say is there is the Jira part. The Jira is the famous, the project management tool where you can also do everything pertaining to that project. Since I am not on a particular project, so let me go to a particular project. Let's say I am in this particular project. Don't worry about what is this. Okay. Whenever you do this, then now you can start creating an issues, and you can have the management. Okay. You can manage the activity. You can manage the members. You can manage the labels. You can plan. You can plan the issues. That is all the issues or the stories. The issue boards are nothing but how you organize the issues to monitor and to get a progress out of it. So there is like, if you know Agile, the Agile boards. It is like similar to the Agile boards. And you can set up the milestones. And also you can create a wiki, sort of an artifact repository. Then importantly, we will go to the code. First of all, we will create a project. There is the code. You can have the merge request. You can create the repositories. You can have branches created. You can commit. You can create the tags for the branches, all those stuff. Uh, there are lots of other things. Then there is the build. Under the build, you have the pipelines, the jobs. Have the pipeline editor, the artifacts. You can schedule a pipeline. That is, maybe your company has decided that this pipeline will be activated on a particular. It's a sort of a cron job. Okay, it will be activated 12 a.m. in the midnight. So when there is no work, when everyone is sleeping, the pipeline will be activated, triggered, and whatever the developers have put in onto the GitHub or onto the GitLab will be picked up, triggered. So the pipeline will trigger one by one. All the code will be picked up, built, packaged, containerized, released, testing. All these things will do. All these things will happen. Whatever the pipeline jobs are there. So this you can also schedule, and you can pick up the artifacts which was created after the build. You can you can secure your activities on the pipeline. You can audit events. That means there will be an audit log generated for each and every pipeline activity that is happening. So anybody can go and not anybody, the DevOps guys or maybe the admin can go. If certain events have to be audited, you can do that. Security configuration, you can do a lot of security configurations over it. Then you can have the deploy. You can create the releases. So many things are there. You can create a container registry. That means you do not need to go to Docker Hub. Can you believe that you have taken out GitHub, you have taken out Docker Hub? What else? You can create all your images and store into the GitLab container registry. Yeah, Azure DevOps has also a similar feature called Azure Repos. But it is simply to say it is a container registry. Package registry. Then you can also have monitoring tools, like you can generate alerts, you can track the errors, you can have the incident management, you can also have a service desk. What not? GitLab is giving you each and every aspects of project development, project from initiation or ideation to production. You can analyze value stream analytics, contributor analytics, CI/CD analytics. So as if you are having a Sonar Cube and much more than Sonar Cube. Sonar Cube is only the code analytics. Okay, but here you can analyze your pipeline, how the pipeline is performing. Okay, uh, repository analysis, whether the repository will be enough or it needs an automatic scaling. All these things will be analyzed. And finally, you go to the settings. And I will tell you, these settings cannot be accessed by anyone else other than the admin who has created the project. It is mostly the DevOps guys who will create the project for the entire team. So these settings will have a lot of things. Uh, CI/CD, one of them is the CI/CD access token. You can create webhooks, but all these things that you do will be outside the purview of anyone else other than only the admins. It can be a DevOps guy, it can be a project lead, it can be the team lead. Okay, generally it is the DevOps guys. So now, having said that, I don't think I will be able to complete today, but it's anyway, it is, we can keep on extending the discussion, but I need you to at least start today. So what we are doing is we will create a project. I will get this is an old project or this is a project which is already there. I will create a new project. Okay, before I go to that, let me see a simple demo using GitLab CI/CD pipeline. That is a very, very simple demo. I will not complicate it for you. So what is happening? We will do this. There is this guy. This is my development friend who is a developer. Okay, the developer has put in some code into the GitLab or GitHub, whatever. He has committed, pushed code changes onto this. And once it is there, there is a trigger because I have set a rule that whenever on a particular branch something is committed, all these things are there. You must be having some knowledge of Git or GitHub or GitLab. So it is the version control. Whenever some developer puts in some code onto some branch, then I have set a rule that whenever something comes on the master branch or some feature branch, it will immediately trigger the pipeline. What will pipeline do? Pipeline will take that code. It will fetch the code from the GitHub or wherever, Bitbucket or some any other place, or maybe from the GitLab. It will pick up and put it for automated build and test. Okay, so this is where the GitLab starts. So let's say when you are building and testing, this is sort of a unit test. Okay, you find that the build was okay, but there was one feature which was not tested correctly. Okay, so what will it do? It will send it back. So it will generate a report, and that artifact will be sent back to the developer. through a mail or through some this pipeline. This pipeline will generate an alert, an alarm. That alarm or notification will go back to the developer. So let's say it has passed, or the automated build and the testing has passed. So the code fixes that has been done was already done. So after that, again an automated build and test. After, see, this was something wrong. So the code was given back to the developer. Developer has put some code fixes and put it on the branch of the GitHub or the GitLab. And again the pipeline was triggered, and again the automated build and test was done. Now you see that everything has been correct, approved, or it has completed successfully. So GitLab was very happy to give that result. So then at this point, I will say that I will do a step or a job to review and approve. So this has passed. This has passed. So what will do? Some manager or some lead will approve that, okay, I am very happy. I see whatever the artifacts that has been generated, I am approving. Let it go to be released. So the code will now be merged into the main branch or the master branch. Okay? It was on a feature branch, which was all the testing and thing was done. Let me understand, are you just following, or is it getting too difficult?
Yes, sir, we are following.
Okay, that's good. Very good. So now everything is fine. So I have also given, the manager has given the approval and the review approval through the mail or through the tool. I mean, say if everything is happening over the pipeline. Then the pipeline will give it a merge. That is, you will be merging it. Somebody will be merging it. Merging it on the main branch or the master branch of this. So after this has been merged, now it comes, this is called the integration. The entire thing is called integration, continuous integration. And finally, it will now be deployed. Why should it be deployed? Where should it be deployed? It should be deployed to the QA. QA means where your system SIT will happen, system integration testing will happen. Because this will be definitely a new server or some testing server where you have to deploy it. Now again, as a DevOps guy, you will create this server. You will use Terraform over the pipeline to create this server. Isn't it nice? Everything you are doing and it's under your control as a DevOps guy. Now these are the assets that you are producing. Don't you think that this pipeline has to be secured? Then comes Mr. Karthik with the DevSecOps. You have to implement certain tools with which you can scan the entire pipeline for security. Because the pipeline has delivered so many assets in its path. Anyway, so that is continuous deployment will now happen. You have deployed it to the test environment or the QA environment, where you will be again doing the automated build, because this merge is the code merge. So the code is now flowing down into the QA server or the test server, and there you have to again build it. You have to again package it like this. Okay, and then you will test it. The testing team will test it with Selenium or JUnit or XUnit as per the whatever the tools that they will employ. And thereafter, you will again deploy it. Now you can deploy it from the SIT or the QA to the pre-production, that is the staging area, which is like a production environment, production-like environment. And there it will be again deployed. Again, it will be built, tested, and finally it will be deployed when approvals are in place. With that approval, it will go to production. And not only this is not the end, because after it has gone to the production, there will be monitoring tools, the feedback tools, which will again, this is the pipeline is a cycle. never ending cycle. So can you understand how much, uh, with how much integrity and dedication that you have delivered your product to the customer? So that product has bound to be 100%, if not 100%, at least between 90 to 95% true of its value. You are delivering a value, business value. So it is called maximum business benefit or value. It's a value product that you have delivered because you are constantly monitoring it even after you have delivered to the production. So it is the same thing. The code, okay, you will commit, the pipeline will be triggered, it will be integrated and tested. Okay, then it will be packaged and released to, it will be reviewed and then it will be released to the staging or to the production. That is the entire thing. Let us start creating the project. We will create a blank project. We will create a blank project. Let me name this project as say any name. Uh, say GitLab internship demo project. So whenever I'm typing this, it's a combination of small and capital letters, and there is gap. But can you see that there is a GitLab dash all in small letters? This is called the repository, which is called the project slug or the repository. GitLab internship demo project. Okay, and you will pick up your user. That is, this is the entire URL, project URL. You are starting from https gitlab.com debashish.jib. What is this? This is the account name, account username, slash, this is the project repository. So it is the entire URL because you are doing over onto a GitLab instance. You are creating this on a GitLab instance. I'm saying I would like to make it a very private project. Okay. I will not like to create an initial README file. Okay. I do not want to. So if you do not create any file, then what will happen? There will be no branches created on the repository. That is for sure. Okay. That's no problem. So your project GitLab internship demo project was successfully created. Are you following? So this is your project, GitLab internship demo project. Fine. And they are giving you lots of commands, but I do not need to, or these are all Git commands. Git commands. You can do whatever. But they are suggesting that you can import your source code or whatever codes from somewhere if you have kept it on the Bitbucket or the GitHub or Azure DevOps, some repository. So you can pick it up from there. No, I don't want to do that. You can do this with the clone and all those stuff. I will not get them. What I will do, I will straight away create a new file. You see, upload a file. I am creating a new file from the scratch. So what it is doing, it is giving me an IDE. IDE means integrated development environment. And the most famous integrated development environment is available on my Windows because I have installed it. It is the Visual Studio Code. Okay, so this is the Visual Studio Code. And the beauty of it is that I can straight away start. So see, this is my project. This is my folder, GitLab internship demo project. This is my folder. What I will do, I will say, I will like to create a new file. And I will create a file. I will create a file. Let me say uh, the file is buildscript.sh. I'm creating a shell script. Build script. Build script.sh. A very simple script. And here I will copy few things. I will copy this. I will tell you what I'm doing. So this is nothing but an echo command. Everybody knows about the echo command. Echo is simply I'm trying to put in some debugging messages over onto my log file, and I'm treating that as a shell file, as a shell script. So what I'm doing, I'm saying that I'm using a shell bash born again shell. Okay, echo build with Maven. So basically, I'm not using any actual real life building. I'm just showing you how I'm trying to build up my uh, pipeline. Okay. So echo build with Maven starts now. Just an echo, just like a printing. You are printing on the screen. Echo uses Maven, so you can use Maven with these commands: Maven clean, and you can use a semicolon to separate your commands. Maven package. So the entire Java code or whatever code will be packaged. There can be hundreds of Java files. All those will be compiled into or packaged into one file called your jar file. If it is a application, Java application, it will be a jar file, Java archive file. Or if it is a Java web application, it can be a war file, .war file. So anyway, what I'm saying, it will compile into an executable file of Java. I'm taking example of Java. So once you have this, then you have already completed the build with Maven, completed. So you are giving a message. Next, you want to put that executable as a, because that is your entire application. That is your entire application. What you do, you will put that into your into a container as an image. That means you want to containerize your application. So what will you do? You will next containerize the build. Use Docker build. I will be using the Docker build. There is a Docker file with which, or Docker compose file, okay, with which I will build that entire application into an image. The advantage of getting an image is that image can be run because it is running within the container. And the image becomes portable. I can keep it, I can store it into my Docker Hub or into my GitLab container registry. And as and when I will call it or pull it, so it will be pulled from that repository or from that registry. And you can see there's a lot of advantage. I will show you. Maybe I am not today. There is few things to deal with, so it will not be completed. But anyway, I am inside the the Visual Studio Code. This is an IDE environment provided by the GitLab. See, GitLab has taken me. I don't have to. I didn't ask GitLab. GitLab already has provided me with this interface. It is very easy because within this IDE environment, I can use so many. I can use the extension. I can go extension. So I can use the GitLab extension. So many things can be done. You can have Python extensions. You can do extensions. You can basically you are adding plugins. But I'm not going to that complicacy because I'm right now writing a simple shell script. Echo usage Docker build. You will be using this. So I'm given the usage. You have to use this command. And then after your image has been compiled or built, you will commit it, and then you will push that image to the Docker Hub. Use the Docker login. I'm using my Docker Hub login with the password. I'm not showing the password. And then it will be pushed into the, so that application image will be pushed into the Docker Hub. So let's say this is my build activity, build and containerization activity. And that I have put it within the shell file. And I will have to save it. So what will you do? This is the source control. My source control is where now? Can anybody tell me where is my source control now? Version control? Who is acting my version control as a version control? Is it GitHub or the GitLab? I am directly I am directly using the GitLab. So my source control, the version control software is also not the GitHub now. It is the entirely GitLab. As I told you, I do not need to use GitHub. GitHub is replaced with GitLab. Fantastic. So what I will do, I will like to save it onto my project repository. Okay, the repository just now I have built. So in that case, I will go there, I will click on this and I will say commit and push to the main. Main is the main branch. So a branch will be created on my repository. Fantastic. So I will just give a message, created a file by the name. What is the name? Build script.sh. Fine. And then I will commit and push. See, did I give any git command? Did I give any git command like git add, then git commit minus m, give a message, and then I'm doing everything over the graphical interface. I don't have to give any command. So I'm saying it is saying success. Your changes have been committed. Where? Into your GitLab. And then I will now my thing has been built. So what I will do, I will go to the project. I will come back to my project. Now, can you see that your file has been created? And your file has been created. This is my commit message. Created a file, this, and it has been created just now. Just now. So are you happy that you have created it? And can you see now the main branch has been created? This is the main branch, which is the default branch. And since I have created my project as a private project, so it is protected. The security is inbuilt. Nobody can access this from outside. Unless and until I as a builder of this project, owner of this project, give a permission to the others to use it. To my team, basically to my team, to my project team, I will give an access, definitely. Only those guys who have an access permission will be, it is called role-based access control, RBAC, a very, very important term. Anyway, so I can see this. See, this is a shell script. The appropriate picture has also come in. I can click on it and you see exactly whatever I have written. It has come. I can also use my GitLab editor. I can use either in the web ID, that is the Visual Studio Code, or I can use it as a single edit file. I can edit directly. I do not have to go to anywhere. I can directly edit and do whatever I want to do over here. I can just check. Okay, everything is fine. Fine. So I can come back to my repository. Similarly, I will create one more file, and the file name is deploy script.sh. Again, this is just a shell script. That is the biggest advantage of using GitLab. I do not need to learn Python and Groovy and other stuff. So what I will do, I will go to the plus sign and then I will say new file. Okay, I can now directly I can go to my Visual Studio Code, or I can directly I have to change to the folder, but anyway, I do not want to go like this. I can directly say what is my file name, uh, deploy, what is that? Deploy script, deploy script.sh. And you can just, I will just copy this again. A simple script, very simple, everything echo, and I will paste it over here. And what I do, I similarly that I have to commit it, right? What I'm doing, I'm deploying the image in the environment. Now, what is this environment? I have used a dollar sign. Dollar, now this I will check what I have done. I'm deploying the image in the environment. Now I want to use QA, but I'm not hard coding it because the environment based on whether it's a development environment or QA environment or your pre-production environment, I will not hard code anything. That is the first and foremost principle of coding. Yeah, it is not a programming language, but it is a simple coding, and the basic principle is that you should not hard code because your environment can change from QA to development or to staging or to production. So what will you do? You will just have to dynamically change the environment value that we will see. So deploying in the environment completed, starts now completed, and things to do after deployment script is complete. So I will now commit this. I'm not physically doing any deployment. You see, there is no scope of doing it right now. I'm just saying that you have started your deployment. You have started your deployment in the of the image that you have built from Docker, that you are deploying it onto the QA environment. Okay, so this environment, and now the deploying in the QA environment, QA is completed. We will see those coming up in the log. And finally, I have to commit it. So I will say a commit message is created a file. The same thing that we used to do in that just now we have done in Visual Studio Code. I'm doing it over the GitLab. So I'm at the same time trying to justify that you do not need to go anywhere. You do it. You can do everything over the GitLab. So created a file called deploy script.sh. This is any message. It is up to you. And I will commit the changes. You have to commit because it is on a branch you are committing. So you have done it. Your file has been successfully created. And now you go back to your repository. And you will see on the main branch you have created 2 files. Isn't it nice? On the main branch you have created 2 files. Now I will come to the final thing, but I will hold it for today so that you can still have that urge. You will join my next Saturday's class in huge numbers because you are not yet satisfied. It is not yet completed. We will start the next Saturday, with building the pipeline with a pipeline script. Will that be fine? I will use the same project because I know it's a very tiring effort for those who are attending both your cybersecurity and DevOps. So it is almost like 4 hours. I don't want to be torturous. Okay, I'm very kind-hearted person. So let us take some rest. Let us prepare for next Saturday. So only point is that you must remember we are going to use the same project, but we have created 2 shell scripts. We are going to use them. but in our pipeline. Okay, so that part we will do next day.
Thank you, Mr. Devashish. Thank you, everyone. Now,
Thank you.
before we complete today's session, one heads up information. Our US morning DevOps batch supposed to start last Friday, uh, but due to the ongoing batch extension, we had to reschedule the batches for the next week. So those students wants to join our job ready training for 7 weeks, Monday to Friday for 2 hours. Uh, that is for India, it is late evening from I think 9:30 to or 10 to 12, or for African and Europe, that is the evening, I think from 5 p.m. And for US, it is morning from 10 a.m. So let us know, because I think some of the students who have a plan, uh, the in time we ask them to, we are postponing because we have certain obligations for our ongoing students who are already joining. So we can, and most of our batches we have to extend for some doubt clearing session, some look back session. So making sure at the end of the tenure of the whole batch, they are job ready. This should not be only the course name is job ready. It should be the same time, they should be prepared for the job market as well.